The planet Zithera was unlike any place Rylan had ever seen. Its sky shimmered in green and violet hues, and enormous crystal trees stretched high into the clouds. The air smelled sweet, almost like a mix of honey and rain, but beneath the beauty there was tension, a feeling that danger and destiny were always close. Rylan, a human warrior, walked carefully through the palace halls. His armor was scratched from many battles, but his posture was steady, his eyes sharp. Humans were rare on Zithera, often treated with suspicion, yet Rylan had earned respect here. Brave, disciplined, and loyal, he carried the aura of a protector, not a conqueror. Today the palace was quiet, too quiet. Servants moved like shadows, glancing at Rylan with nervous eyes. Something was wrong. At the heart of the palace lay the princess, Lyra, the young heir to Zithera. She was critically ill. Her skin, which usually glowed with a soft golden light, was pale and dull. Her breathing was shallow, almost like she was sleeping but not alive. The court healer approached Rylan, bowing low. "Warrior Rylan, thank the stars you are here. The princess, she may not survive another day. We have tried all remedies, but her body rejects them. Only humans may hold the key." Rylan raised an eyebrow. Humans? He had faced many alien threats, but nothing like this. "Explain," the healer hesitated. "Your blood. Your species has rare properties. It carries cells that can adapt. If we attempt a transfusion, it might save her. But it is dangerous for both of you." Rylan's heart skipped. He had faced death on battlefields, but this was different. He could die simply by giving blood to an alien, and yet he looked at the princess, fragile and alone, and something inside him stirred. Courage was not just about fighting. Sometimes it was about risking yourself for someone who could not defend themselves. "I will do it," Rylan said firmly. His voice echoed in the marble hall. "I don't care if it's dangerous. I will help her." The healer's eyes widened. "You understand the risk?" "I understand," Rylan replied. "I also understand that if I do nothing, she will die." In her chamber, Princess Lyra lay on a bed carved from crystal. Her eyes fluttered open, revealing deep violet irises. She was aware barely of Rylan's presence. A human in her palace, it was almost unheard of. She looked at him with suspicion, fear, and curiosity. "You are a human," she whispered. Her voice was weak, fragile as glass. "Yes," Rylan replied softly. "I am here to help you." Lyra tried to nod, but her strength failed her. Her gaze wandered around the room, landing on strange alien instruments glowing with energy. "Why me?" she asked. Why would a human risk himself for an alien princess? Rylan knelt beside her. Because bravery is not limited to species. Because humanity cares. His words were simple, but they carried weight. Lyra did not understand them fully, but somehow the warmth of his presence reached her. The healer prepared the transfusion chamber. Tubes and containers hovered in the air, controlled by holographic screens. Energy flowed like rivers, scanning Rylan's blood, analyzing compatibility. "You must remain calm," the healer instructed. "If your bodies reject each other, either of you may die." Rylan looked at Lyra. Her lips were pale, but a faint glow returned when she saw him. He smiled reassuringly. "We will get through this together." The transfusion began. Rylan felt the sharp sting of alien needles, but he gritted his teeth. His blood, warm and vibrant, began to flow into Lyra's veins. Immediately, something strange happened. Lyra's body shivered and her skin glowed faintly, brighter than it had in days. Energy pulsed through her limbs like lightning dancing under her skin. Rylan felt an odd warmth spreading through his body as well. Not pain, not weakness, but a strange connection he could not explain. "What is happening?" Lyra gasped, her voice stronger than before. Rylan's brow furrowed. He could feel something linking him to her, not just blood, but something deeper. Thoughts, emotions, instincts. He could sense her fear, her hope, her pain, and she could sense him. This should not happen," the healer muttered, stepping back. "Human blood and Zytheran biology are incompatible. Yet, something is occurring." Rylan ignored the warnings. He focused on Lyra, his warrior instincts telling him to protect, to endure, to survive. The connection grew stronger. For a moment he saw flashes of her memories. Crystal halls, childhood games, the laughter of her people, the fear of dying alone. Lyra gasped again, clutching his hand. "You feel it too?" "Yes," Rylan said, surprised. "I feel everything. I don't understand it, but I do. The energy around them brightened. Alarms rang through the chamber, but Ryland did not pull away. He knew the risk. But for the first time in his life, risk felt different. It felt necessary, almost sacred. Hours passed. Or maybe minutes. Time seemed to bend as their bodies adjusted, as alien and human life intertwined in ways no one had imagined. Finally, Lyra's breathing steadied. Her skin glowed golden, full of life. She opened her eyes fully and looked at Ryland, no longer with suspicion but awe. "You saved me," she said softly. Ryland shook his head. "No, we saved each other." The healer looked on, stunned. "Impossible." "But alive. Both are alive, and yet there is a connection now, a bond, something science cannot explain." Lyra struggled to sit up. She looked at Ryland more closely, noticing subtle details. The way his eyes seemed to shine with a light not entirely human. The calm strength that radiated from him. She felt different, stronger, calmer, and more aware. Something inside her had shifted. Ryland helped her to her feet. She did not resist. Their hands brushed, and energy seemed to pulse between them again. Neither could explain it, but both felt it deeply. Outside the chamber, whispers spread through the palace. Aliens gathered in secret, observing the human warrior and the princess. Some were fearful, calling Ryland a threat. Others were amazed, calling him a miracle. One thing was certain. Nothing on Zithra would ever be the same again. That night, Ryland and Lyra stood together on a balcony overlooking the crystal forests. The twin moons reflected on the shimmering leaves, casting silver light across the land. "Why did you risk yourself?" Lyra asked, her voice now steady, no longer weak. Ryland looked at the moons, then at her. "Because someone had to. Because humans fight for each other even when there is no gain, no glory, no reason, but the right thing to do." Lyra nodded slowly. "I do not fully understand your species, Ryland, but I feel it, your courage, your heart." "It is different," he smiled faintly. "Different? Maybe. But different is not always bad." They both fell silent, looking at the alien horizon. Somewhere in the distance, Ryland sensed danger approaching. Political intrigue, rival factions, and enemies who would see Lyra's survival as a threat. But for now, that could wait. For now, a human warrior and an alien princess had survived the impossible together. Something had awakened in both of them. Something that defied logic, something neither science nor prophecy could explain. And deep inside Ryland, a thought echoed, steady and strong. Humans may be fragile. Humans may be mortal, but humans could also change the fate of worlds. The morning light on Zithra was soft, filtered through crystal leaves that reflected green and violet rays across the palace. The world seemed peaceful, almost magical, but Ryland knew that appearances could be deceiving. He and Princess Lyra had survived the transfusion, but neither understood what had truly happened. Lyra sat on a low crystal bench in her chamber, flexing her fingers carefully. Her skin glowed faintly, golden and alive, a stark contrast to the pale light of the previous day. She felt different, stronger, clearer. Her mind was alert, sharper than it had ever been, but most of all, she felt a strange connection, something she could not explain, linking her to the human warrior who had saved her life. Ryland knelt before her, inspecting a strange pulse of energy visible just under her skin. "You're stable," he said. "But something is happening. I can feel it, your body. It's changing." Lyra turned her head slowly. "I can feel it too. And not just my body. When I think, I feel you like your thoughts are near mine." Ryland swallowed. He had never experienced anything like it. He had fought aliens, monsters, and disasters across the galaxy, but nothing had ever connected him to another being so completely, and yet it was real. He could feel her fear, her curiosity, her strength. And she could sense him, his resolve, his memories, even fragments of his dreams. The palace healer, Moran, hovered nearby, looking more anxious than ever. "This should not be possible," Moran said, his voice trembling. "Human blood and Zithran biology are incompatible. Yet your cells, your DNA has fused with hers. I cannot explain it. It is unprecedented," Ryland frowned. "Unprecedented or not, she is alive. And she is. Stronger than before." Marin adjusted a holographic scanner over Lyra's chest. The screen lit up with strange readings. Her heart beat steadily, her cells regenerating rapidly. Tiny flashes of energy flowed through her veins. She is healing at an accelerated rate. And not only that, Morin paused. She is adapting. Her body is responding to human physiology in ways I have never seen in Zitherans. Her strength, her senses, they are beyond normal limits, Lyra blinked. I feel it. I can sense things, hear things I never heard before, understand things I never knew. Is this human? Rylan shook his head. I don't know. Maybe part of it. But whatever it is, it's real. You are changing, Princess. And so am I. He hesitated, then admitted. I feel it too. My body, my mind. Something is different. I can understand your language without thinking. I see your memories, your feelings. It's strange, but not unpleasant. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Words seemed small compared to the connection flowing between them. In the silence, the palace itself seemed to hum with energy. Something fundamental had shifted, not just in Lyra or Rylan, but in the very air of Zithera. News of Lyra's recovery spread quickly through the palace. Some alien officials were terrified. A human, a mortal being, had fused with the princess in ways no science could explain. What if this changed everything? Others were fascinated. A warrior of Rylan's skill, combined with Lyra's newfound abilities, could make Zithera stronger than ever. The court divided itself silently into factions, those who feared human influence and those who believed humanity might be a blessing. Rylan remained calm. He had faced fear before, aliens, beasts, war, but this was different. Politics and fear could wait. For now, he needed to help Lyra understand what was happening to her body and mind. He guided her to the training hall, a vast chamber with walls of polished crystal and hovering platforms designed to test strength, agility, and combat skills. Lyra hesitated. She was no fighter, not in the human sense, but her instincts were sharp and her body felt alive in ways she had never imagined. Let's see what you can do, Rylan said, smiling faintly. I promise I won't let anything happen to you. Lyra nodded. She stepped onto the training platform. When she moved, it was as if she could predict her own steps before they happened. Her reflexes were faster than Rylan had ever seen in a Zitheran. She jumped, dodged, and twisted with precision that stunned even the holographic instructors. Rylan watched carefully. He noticed something else too. Lyra's eyes sometimes flickered with violet light, almost as if she were tapping into some hidden energy inside her. He realized the transfusion had done more than heal her. It had given her abilities that no Zitheran possessed. You're amazing, Rylan said quietly, but we need to understand it. Can you control this? Lyra shook her head. Not yet. It's like something inside me is alive, moving, wanting to connect. I can feel things I should not. I can hear the wind, the trees, the pulse of the palace. Rylan nodded slowly. Then we will learn together. You are not alone in this. But the palace was not quiet for long. Whispers reached them that evening. Alien factions who opposed Lyra's survival had started plotting. Some feared the fusion would make the princess too powerful. Others thought humans might gain control over Zithera itself. Rylan overheard a conversation between two officials. If the human's blood continues to merge with the princess, it could destabilize the entire kingdom, one said. Or it could give us an advantage against our rivals, the other replied. The humans, they are unpredictable, but perhaps that unpredictability is power. Rylan clenched his fists. He had not come here to fight politics, but he understood one thing clearly. If anyone tried to harm Lyra, he would stop them. Humans protected those who could not defend themselves. That was a law of survival and a law of honor. The next morning, Lyra awoke to find Rylan sitting by the balcony, looking out over the crystal forests. He had been meditating, preparing himself for whatever the day might bring. I had a dream, Lyra said softly. Or maybe a memory. I saw myself as a child running through the palace gardens. But I could also see your memories, Rylan. I saw your battles, your home, your people. It was like our lives are connected now. Rylan nodded. I feel the same. Your memories, your feelings. I can sense them. We are linked, Princess. Somehow human blood and Zetheran biology have created something new. Lyra's eyes widened. New. But what does it mean? I don't know yet, Rylan admitted. But it is powerful. And with power comes responsibility. We have to be careful. Others will want to use this. Or fear it. They spent the day exploring the limits of Lyra's new abilities. She discovered she could sense the movements of objects, almost like a sixth sense. She could heal small cuts with a touch. Her strength and speed had increased, though she still struggled to control the energy pulsing within her. Rylan guided her patiently. "Power without control is dangerous," he said. "You need to learn discipline. Your mind must lead your body, not the other way around." Lyra listened intently. Humans were different from her people, and yet there was wisdom in Rylan's words. She felt herself growing, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. She had always known responsibility, but now it was magnified. The life of her people, and perhaps the fate of her kingdom, might depend on what she learned. That night, as Zithara's twin moons rose over the horizon, a sudden alarm rang through the palace. Sensors detected unusual energy spikes outside the walls. Lyra and Rylan rushed to the control room, where the court scientists were monitoring the readings. "What is it?" Lyra asked, her senses already heightened, allowing her to feel the faint tremors in the ground outside. Rylan frowned. "It's approaching. Something, or someone." The scanners revealed a fleet of ships from a neighboring system moving toward Zithara at high speed. Their intentions were unclear, but the signs were obvious. These were not visitors. These were attackers. Lyra's heart raced, but Rylan placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "We have survived the impossible once," he said. "We can survive it again, together." Lyra nodded. She could feel the energy within her pulsing, ready to defend, ready to fight. She did not fully understand it, but she trusted Rylan. And that trust was enough. As the alien ships approached Zithara, the palace prepared for a confrontation it had never seen before. Lyra, the princess who had been dying just days ago, now stood ready with strength that defied logic. And Rylan, the human warrior, stood beside her, fearless, determined, and unwavering. Somewhere deep inside, both of them knew the truth. The transfusion had done more than save a life. It had begun something extraordinary, something that would change the fate of Zithara, and perhaps the galaxy itself. And for the first time, both human and alien could see it. The impossible was now possible.